Death, Texas, and Tacos is brought to you by Arrowwood Law Firm and Grange Hall.
Okay, y'all. Everyone sit down, shut your damn mouths, and open up your ears. Because it's time for Death, Texas, and Tacos with my boys, Brad and Barry, the Klinge brothers, and the OG ghost brother himself, Mr. Steve Harris. Have y'all ever wondered what it would feel like if the paranormal got kicked in the balls? Well, you about to find out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Which was that? Was that Electric Company? Or was it Sesame Street?
Oh,
Sesame Street, I think.
No, I think it's Electric
There
Company.
might have been Electric Company. The Electric Company.
Yeah. Because that was more like 70s psychedelic.
The days of public broadcast television. I used to my favorite part in Electric Company was when Spider-Man came out.
Yeah. Dun, 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 Spider-Man.
You didn't see him otherwise. I mean, nowadays it's like, shoot, Spider-Man's everywhere.
Yeah, and it was so
and,
short. It was only like 2 or 3 frames.
Yeah. Ah, man, the good old days.
Electric Company.
You looking it up?
Yeah.
What are you going to look up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Hey, Electric Company. All the electric companies around here popped up. GVC.
But you also don't realize, Morgan Freeman, he was on the Electric Company.
The original?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it?
Well, the original one. Is there a
No.
Is there a new one?
Well, no. What I mean is like the
one when we were kids.
Yeah, when we were kids. Because
Yeah.
I know because it went on for how long? I don't know how long after
1,
we
2,
were
3,
kids.
4,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Talking about Morgan Freeman, my daughter Hallie, her friend or its teacher, I can't remember what it is, but she has an acquaintance who's Morgan Freeman is her boyfriend. Yeah, like legit, like Morgan Freeman's her boyfriend, and Hallie's actually been around, and Morgan Freeman's been there, and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so
How'd she say he's like in real life?
I don't know. I guess every time he tells a story, it's like a documentary
Everybody
narrative
listens.
or something like that.
He's reading off the grocery list. You want me to get some eggs?
We got eggs and milk, nutritious for your body. Enough of that. Welcome to Death, Texas, and Tacos. Yet another episode, and we're getting together a little bit later this week. I mean, it's Thursday of this week, and we got to air this thing on Sunday. We were procrastinating a little bit this week, but the good news is we can start doing taco reviews here pretty soon because Barry bought the chargers to charge the cameras, so we can actually get out there and start doing that, all the little things. So tonight what we're going to talk about is I had the idea, I almost want to call it It's Pat. But then I thought, call it Scardy Pat. All the Pat stories.
Oh, that's like a week's worth.
Yeah, that's like a week's worth. But I want to call it, so I ended up calling it Scaredy Cats. And the reason is because it's like, I just didn't want to pick on Pat. Although we're going to talk a lot of Pat stories.
For sure.
Along the way, when we were doing Ghost Lab, we had the production company and everyone who was in and around us. What was there, like 20, 15, 20 people at least in the entourage of filming the show. Yeah. Some of them have filmed paranormal shows before. Some of them have never even done a paranormal show before. And they didn't know what to expect. And they thought they were just coming in to have a regular job and film a TV show. But they got more than they bargained for when they went into haunted houses and had to go in after we provoked and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of experience, a lot of funny stories. We want to talk about those today. And it started out, the very first one, we got our experience with this production crew. We talked about that in the previous episode, how we showed up at the Shreveport Municipal Auditorium. Huge place. I mean, this place it was like, I don't know, like 3 levels. It went 3 levels down, giant open hallways. The place was humongous.
It was like cutting Freeman Coliseum in half.
No, I think it was like doubling the Freeman Coliseum. Those things. It was
probably a little smaller. It's different shape, like square looking.
Yeah,
but it went down. It went down.
It was more grand. I mean, it was really cool. It had a lot. Yeah, it had a lot of subfloors.
Subfloors, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But wandering around this place and we were investigating, and we had the production crews following us, and like we said, normally you have 2 audio guys, 2 camera guys, producers, all that kind of stuff that's with you. But remember Tom?
Yes.
The Asian guy named Tom?
Sound guy.
Yes.
Sound guy. The mic.
Yeah, the sound. He carried a boom around and mic'd us up and all that kind of stuff. He was our first sound guy on Ghost Lab during the first season. And the first episode, he was there at Shreveport Municipal Auditorium. And I'll never forget, because we were filming all day for a couple of days, and it was lunchtime or dinner time or whatever it was. At that time, they called a break, and we went to eat. And Tom came up to Barry and I, and he was talking. He was like, he had this worried look on his face, and he was disturbed about something. We're like, Tom, what's wrong, Tom? What's going on? He's like, guys, I don't know how to explain it, but when I'm sitting there and I have my audio on and my headphones on, I'm hearing voices and sounds that shouldn't be there. I'm like,
welcome to the show, Tom.
I said, you're listening to ghosts, man.
Yeah.
And he was legitimately freaked out to the point where did he ask you? He asked both of us to go.
Yeah, he the restroom was like at the very, very bottom of this place. It was spooky. He came up to Brad and I said, hey man, y'all mind going down to the restroom with me? It's like, okay, Tom, I'm gonna hold your hand.
I remember
y'all
talking about that.
We escorted him down to the bathroom, and I think the restroom was one of the haunted spots in the place where they said that there was activity and things like that. So not only was he hearing voices, he definitely didn't want to go down there by himself. All kinds of things like that happened along the way, and that was the very first exposure that we had to other people who had nothing to do with paranormal, never had these experiences. To us, it was old news, right?
We
saw a hat. Oh, I thought I saw
like
someone
normal.
walk by.
Well, you know, the one thing that surprised me was the part of the production crew that were used to filming paranormal shows. I thought they would have been used to, like you said, like listening to voices, hearing things in the background. But what came to shock to me is that all of them said that none of this stuff happened while they were filming.
Right.
And I was like,
we also had a question, these other shows they worked on, how legit were they? You know, like,
yeah.
Well, we will say this: the production company that filmed our show was also the production company that filmed Paranormal State.
Right.
Half of the people were the same people.
Right.
And you know they did have stories of that, but you're right. They said that every time something happens, it was off camera.
It was off camera, yeah. And they all said like whenever they watch, very rarely I noticed that they watched the episode. Usually they watch like the dailies, they called it, at the end of the day, and that's about it. Mm-hmm. But they would say that when they watched the episode, like, oh, that didn't happen, or like we didn't hear that during that time,
right?
But like while we were filming, they were hearing all kinds of stuff, and like, is this normal? And that's why they went to you guys, and everybody we're like, well, yeah. Didn't you get this with other shows?
Yeah, you're filming a paranormal show. What do you think?
Yeah.
A lot of them thought it was bullshit.
Yeah,
they thought it was just a entertainment show, and it was all made up.
Right.
But they got more than they bargained for.
Right.
But another guy, it was funny that we used to razz this guy constantly. It was Dan Z. Remember old Dan Z?
Yeah, Dan.
What was his? He was.
I don't know what his official title was.
He was kind of like
bootlicker.
He was like he was kind of like the field producer, I guess. Or no, he's actually kind of like the.
It's like the main, like kind of like
the
production
budget guy.
manager.
Yeah, production manager.
He always got the schedule ready. Like,
he has a
budget,
budget and spending money.
He made sure where hotels we were staying at.
Give everybody call sheets.
Yeah.
Send out emails.
And so with that responsibility, he was the one that did all the plane tickets and the rental car reservations.
Right.
Well, when we were in Dallas doing the Catfish Plantation episode, everyone has different rental cars, right? The production, the crew shows up and they get one rental car for 4 people. Mm-hmm. We show up and we get a rental car, and then remember we used to have to split it between who drove with us and who drove with Steve Hawk. Because if he went with Steve Hawk, he went straight to the liquor store.
That was usually Corey. Corey got stuck with him.
Yeah, and then you usually have to carry the bag of ice.
But one of the rental cars when we did the Catfish Plantation wouldn't start. Like, we went to the Catfish Plantation, we filmed all night. It was 2 or 3 in the morning, and everybody left back to the hotel, but one of the rental cars wouldn't start. So
didn't it rain?
Huh?
It rained also, didn't it?
I think it was raining and thundering and stuff like that. And so Dan Z told everyone, look, go back to the hotel because, if the crew is out past a certain time, they got to pay him double time. And, he's so budget conscious. Anyway, sent them all back. And he sat in the Catfish Plantation.
Oh, yeah.
With the owner. It was just him.
I remember this story.
And the owner.
I don't know if it was the owner. I think it was like might have been the owner.
I think it was the owner.
Like a chef or something. Or he was there with somebody.
Someone affiliated with the Catfish Plantation.
I think it is a chef.
I think it was a chef. Yeah.
But he sat there, and storms rolling in 2 or 3 in the morning. And what's known about the Catfish Plantation? There's a old woman that's supposed to haunt the place. Anyway, her picture's all over the place. Anyway, this old woman who used to own the house. It was originally a house. It was a farmhouse. Mm-hmm. She haunts the place. Okay, turns the silverware around, lifts silverware, throws knives. There was all kinds of stuff that happened.
She was a teetotaler. She didn't like alcohol.
She didn't like alcohol,
profanity, and all that.
So we're there, and this was after this. I can't remember if this is after the knife incident that jumped out of the jar or not. I can't remember. It was one of those days. But he was sitting there, and he comes, and we don't know this until he comes back to the hotel. Okay, he comes back to the hotel, and he literally looks like he saw a ghost. He is freaking out. He doesn't know what to do. I was like, damn, what's wrong? He's like, I swear to God, we were sitting in the dining room. It was just us. It was completely dark. I was flipping through my phone, and something went from one side of the room to the other, like a 200-pound man running as hard as he could right through where I was sitting. He goes, I swear to you, it happened. And
he said something was whispering in his ear.
Something was whispering in his ear.
He kept like thinking it was like whatever.
He thought it was a bug. I remember he kept going like
he kept asking the guy, "You hear that?"
Yeah.
And it's like something was whispering in his ear.
And Dan always had a hat on. I remember he was going like this with this hat, just trying to.
Yeah.
Thinking it was a bug or something.
Well, remember what happened when he got back to the hotel?
Yeah,
he had his own room, but
he slept. He went around asking everybody if he could sleep with him.
Yeah, and not only that, he had to sleep with with the camera guy in his bed with the lights on. He wouldn't let him turn the lights on.
He was that. I didn't know he was that freaked out. I heard he was freaked out. But
he was that freaked out, and it's funny because it's one of those things. How many times have we heard things whispering to us or heard things running around?
Right.
And a lot of times we'll just go to sleep right there.
Right.
We're staying in the house or something like that. But these guys, again, they're not experienced with this stuff. But that old Dan, I mean, there's a lot of stories of Dan Z.
Tom had another one. Remember Tom at the morgue in New Orleans?
I don't remember. I don't know the story.
It was me and you, and we're doing that experience. So maybe we went up in the elevator, and the doors opened.
Oh yeah,
and something was scaring the hell out of Tom, and Tom was running to the elevator, and the door shut, and left him up there by himself.
Yep.
Oh, is this the one that they made the bottom half like a haunted house?
Yeah,
right. We're going to get to that story in a bit when we talk.
We were in the elevator. Pat. We came up, and the doors open, and Tom's at
a distance, right? And he's running for the elevator.
He's running for the door, and the door
puts his hand out as it's closing. Of course, we didn't stop it. He was freaking. He didn't want to be up. He'd been up there by himself.
Yeah, he was up by himself. He was freaking out trying to get on the elevator.
Well, we got a lot of morgue stories with Pat and Mike. Those are the greatest ones. But we'll talk about those at the end. So that's Dan Z. There's probably other stories with Dan Z. That was the one that always stuck out in my mind. Oh yeah, you remember Nick?
Yes, the lighting. Well,
the gaffer,
electrician.
Yeah, he ran the lights, he ran the electricity, and all that kind of stuff. He's actually from San Antonio, or he was from this area.
Yeah,
I've seen him a couple times since we filmed Ghost Lab, doing like local videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
But season 2, we were at the Chambers of Poe, in Kansas City, and remember, it was a real. When I say real haunted house, it was a theatrical haunted house
in a haunted building.
In a haunted, an old, what was it, like a John Deere tractor?
John Deere tractor, whatever. They built them. They made them there, yeah.
So, giant warehouse. They made into all the different stories of Edgar Allan Poe. Mm-hmm. The rooms had the different stories, and it's like you're walking through the stories. Well, they also had an area there that had real caskets. And when I say real caskets, I mean caskets that had been used.
They were occupied at one time.
What? Wait a minute.
Yeah,
what did they do? Exhume them?
Well, what happens, if they have bad floods, the Midwest floods, these caskets would float down the river and end up, and people would go down there and pick them up. And that's what these guys did. They found these caskets, no body in them now. Mm-hmm. Bodies from wherever it is.
Well, someone told me if they pick them up and there's a body in them, they have to call the authorities. They basically dump the body out. They put it in a new casket. Mm-hmm. Legally, they have to do that. Mm-hmm. But then
But they were using those real caskets in their haunted house as props.
I remember that.
We sat in it. We actually laid in it.
And it was gross. Yeah. I mean, you had the dirt stains and the body stains.
Yeah,
and we were stupid.
The worm shit, all that crap in there.
What the hell were we thinking? And then to make it worse, we were provoking around it. We were like taunting and yelling and going nuts like we do. And it's kind of like that jar of Kool-Aid. You stir that jar of Kool-Aid, you stir it, you take the spoon out, and it's still stirring. It's still moving.
Yeah.
It's like still moving.
Like a little whirlpool.
Well, what happens is we don't really think about the consequences of this for other people, but we stir that shit up, and then we leave.
They were like, all right, see ya. And they got to wind up miles of cable and do all their crap.
It's like, here come the Klinge brothers. Oh, yeah, you motherfucker. Come on out. All right, see ya.
We're out.
And we'll go back to the hotel. See ya. We're going to go eat some. Have a nice time. Yeah. But yeah, they have to stay behind, and they roll up the miles and miles of cable and take down all the lights and all that kind of stuff. And while we were out at the we left the building. We were getting ready to go. Nick comes out, and here he comes running out, white as a ghost, and he's like, "Man, I was upstairs because I remember you round the corner, and you went down the stairs by where those caskets were." Right. He goes, I was rolling the cable up. I was in there completely by myself. He goes, I was freaked out to begin with. He goes, but then I heard something walk up behind me. That scared me. He goes, but whatever it was, pushed me down the stairs. What? He felt hands on him, pushed him down
pushed
the
him
stairs.
Down a flight of stairs. Big time.
He went tumbling down the stairs, and that freaked him out. Now, that's dangerous. I mean, get pushed down a flight of stairs, that could kill you.
He didn't want to leave.
Well, remember the story of that place. Remember the ghost actually supposedly murdered or had something to do with the death of a guy who was crushed by the elevator, but supposedly the rope was cut or something. Whatever was there, this entity is actually responsible for this guy dying. So
you guys raise the energy for this.
Good times.
And then leave the
raise
building.
the energy or piss the ghost off.
Yeah. And
you choose how you phrase it.
You technically raised the energy and then took off out of the building. Whoever's left inside had to,
Yeah.
I guess,
had to suffer the consequences.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty creepy. I mean, when you're doing all that crap and when we're all on there together, it's all fun and games. But I remember at the Axe House, the Villisca Axe House, it was all done, and I left my recorder up in the attic or something, and everyone was. I mean, I was the only one by myself, and it takes on a new meaning when you're by yourself. I don't care who you are. You're looking over your shoulder. You're like, holy shit, get the hell out of here.
But that's why I was always like, hey, are we done? Are we done? I started wrapping up and pulling stuff out while everybody's still in there. I was trying to hear it.
Yeah, but we also take advantage of those situations, too. Villisca Axmer did that same situation. He left his recorder up there. Okay. I went up to get it, but I stayed and I said, Barry, I think Al had his nephew. The executive producer's nephew was tagging along or whatever.
He was a PA or whatever.
And so I said, hey, tell him that you left your recorder up in the upstairs closet. It was at Villisca Axmer house where all these Axmers happened.
That's the one we had to spend the night at, right?
We didn't spend the night there. Okay. This is the one that was the hottest.
Lizzie Borden was what I was thinking of.
Yeah, Lizzie Borden.
Okay.
Villisca was the hottest night I've ever. I never thought I'd spend a hot night in Iowa, but that was the hottest I've ever been in my life. But anyway, up there in the closet, and then I stay there, and Barry tells him. So here I am waiting in the closet for him, and I hear his footsteps come up. Thump, 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 thump. He's moving kind of quick, he wants to get out of there. He opens that door, and I'm right there, and I just go booga 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 booga, just like that. Oh my God! I thought he shat his pants right there. I shat my pants at Villisca, but
like a T-shirt.
But needless to say, I don't remember seeing him again. Man, I don't know if we scared him.
There's only a couple episodes that he was there. He's like hanging out, like summer break or something. I don't know what he's doing,
but anyway, man, the stories are rolling by, and it's every time you mention one comes to mind. But we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hey, y'all, let's take a minute to talk about the people who pay for all this shit here. So do us a favor and listen up.
Have you found yourself facing DUI charges?
Arrowwood Law Firm.
Have you had your license suspended?
Arrowwood Law Firm.
In the middle of a nasty divorce?
Arrowwood Law Firm.
Then call Jeff Arrowwood of Arrowwood Law Firm. 850-244-JEFF. That's 850-244-5333. With offices in Fort Walton Beach, Tallahassee, and Tampa, Florida. He's here to help fellow Floridians. Call Jeff Arrowwood. 850-244-JEFF.
Arrowwood Law Firm.
Now back to Death, Texas, and Tacos with the Klinge brothers and Steve.
Hey, welcome back, man. We got a lot of stories we've already told, but we like I said, we can probably do several shows just based on these stories. But going back to the morgue.
Well, you want to do the morgue first, or we want to talk about the Myrtles?
Let's do the Myrtles.
Because the Myrtles actually came
involved
before.
in both. Yeah. Myrtles Plantation.
What time at the Myrtles? I don't know how many times we've been at the Myrtles.
This is when we filmed
Ghost Lab at the Myrtles.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've been to the Myrtles several times, even before filming there. But that was like a second or third episode.
The second episode.
We left.
No, it was the second episode of the first episode, the second location.
Right.
So Shreveport and then the Myrtles.
Right. So we left Shreveport, went down to the Myrtles. And if you've been to the Myrtles, really cool place, big white, southern plantation with the the hanging Spanish moss, the typical creepy factor.
A little small lake in the back.
And I will say, haunted as fuck.
Yeah,
It really is. It really
we've gotten
is.
probably some of our best evidence from the Myrtles, even prior to Ghost Lab. But we have this guy on our crew. His name's Pat, and Pat's actually a friend of ours. He lives in the same hometown.
Our daughters used to cheer together, and his daughter was a cheerleader also. That's how we met him. Mm-hmm. So we were family friends with him, and when we started Everyday Paranormal, he kind of hung out and helped us do things. But he could drive a truck and a trailer. So, hey, we got the Ghost Lab to haul around 90,000 miles in the United States. You want a job? And they gave him a job doing that. So, that's how Pat came along. But Scardy Pat, that's what he's calling me.
Pat, I mean, he's scared of everything. Vampires, I think, were his worst fear.
That was in the Myrtles. He was literally, you had to escort him around the property because he was afraid a vampire was going to drop out of a tree. For real.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, for real. We're not kidding. He really thought vampires were this is weird. But we're out. If you've been to the Myrtles, there's a sharecropper's cottage outside of the main house there, and that's where we were. I think, were you out there with us?
You talking about the one, the wooden shack?
Yeah.
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 So it was me, you, Brad, and Pat
Right.
was out there with us. Well, the Myrtles is famous for their dolls. They have one room that has these dolls, and supposedly the story is that the dolls move. They'll switch places, switch rooms during the night.
Oh, yeah.
And so this whole time while we're filming there,
Yeah,
we're talking
I
about
remember
the
this,
dolls. Yeah. We're playing jokes on each other. Well, Pat's anxiety, he's very anxious. His anxiety is getting higher and higher and higher. So now it's time to go to sleep. And so he comes out. We're all out there.
And it's four of us. It's you, me, Barry, and Pat.
Right.
Four of us in this cabin.
Right.
Okay? Why would you be scared? There's four of us in this cabin, right?
Exactly.
Barry and I had, there was two beds. Barry and I had the bed, and then I think you and Pat had the pallets on the floor.
Right.
Or something like that. Okay? So we're there. We're done filming, so it's at least midnight. It's at least 1 o'clock in the morning by the time we're done filming and getting to bed and going to sleep.
Right.
It might be later than that. Maybe it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, we're trying to go to sleep, and you see the glow coming from the floor. It's the glow of Pat's cell phone.
I remember that.
You
We
hear
kept telling Pat, turn it off.
Tick, 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 tick,
Yeah,
tick, tick, tick,
trying to
tick,
sleep.
He's texting. Tick, 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 ding. Tick, 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 ding. I said, Pat, what the fuck are you doing?
I remember that.
He goes, oh, we always do our Pat. You have to know Pat. He had the West Nile virus. He got bit by a mosquito a long time ago.
He had a speech impediment.
He has a speech impediment. And he also he kind of had a limp every now and then.
This thing Elmer Fudd.
He talks like this, and we said, Pat, what the fuck are you doing? He goes, well, I'm texting the crew because the crew stayed in the main house.
Right.
They were all in the different rooms in the main house.
Right.
And I said, what are they saying? They're telling me to come into the house because they're all up and they're watching TV and they're whatever. And he goes, I don't feel like going to sleep out here. I'm a little nervous. And I said, okay, whatever. So he text, keeps texting. Another 5-10 minutes, and we drift off to sleep. Kind of that you're in a good sleep zone, but you're still kind of aware of your environment.
Right.
Well, I hear him get up. And I hear footsteps walking across the room, and that old creaky door he opens up. I hear, all of a sudden, he screams.
Oh my god!
Not just oh my god. As loud as he could, and he comes falling back into the room.
I remember him crawling backwards,
tripping over you, falling over the bed. We jump up, kind of like, oh my god, we're gonna have to kill somebody here. Like there's a murderer who came in, and we don't know what the hell's going on. Woke us up from a dead sleep. What the crew did is they were trying to bait him to come outside because they had taken that doll that's supposed to move around the Myrtles. They took it out and put a knife in its hand and put it right on the porch.
Or on the porch.
So as soon as he walked out, they did the flashlight. There's a doll sitting there with a knife. That gave him a heart attack. But that's where this next story leads because
we almost did give him a heart attack.
We know.
We probably did give him a heart attack.
Well, we knew how scared he was, right?
Right.
So we did an episode in New Orleans. There's a mortuary, and the top part is kind of like, I don't know, like corporate like office space, and you can have parties and stuff there. But the lower level is a haunted house, and during Halloween they actually make it a haunted house. But it's got the old autopsy tables there. It's got all that nasty crap from way back when. It flooded during Katrina.
Right.
And there was some homeless people that died in there, and whatever the stories
That's right.
were.
That's why we were there. I forgot.
But very, very typical haunted house, scary type place.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we had the idea where, energy. We always say that energy causes a haunting or helps maintain a haunting. And what other kind? I mean, there's electrical energy. There's electrical energy. There's thermal energy. There's all different kinds of energy. Well, fear and the emotion of fear is also an energy. And we think that fear can actually attract the hauntings,
Right,
and keep them
feed
there.
off of it. Yeah,
Fear factor. So what we did was we had different people walk through this haunted house that's in the basement of this mortuary, strapped to what kind of crap
Or
they
a
have
halter
on them?
monitor.
A halter monitor,
It
and
monitors your blood pressure, monitors your
Heart
heart
rate.
rate, pulse, and all that. It actually, I don't know if it does the actual algorithm of your waves, but it monitors your cardiac.
that's right. And we had a doctor there.
had a
too.
doctor
Yeah,
there.
we had a doctor there too.
He actually took their vital signs and all their
That's right,
post
before
or
and
pre
after, yeah.
and then post and
Okay.
see what the difference was.
and they have this thing on their finger. It's a stress monitor. So it's like an egg. It's like an egg, and it kind of monitor. It monitors stress.
Right.
And if it beeps, then it means you're stressing out. And it's for people who have high stress that
That's right, right.
it warns them that they're stressing out, so maybe they'll calm down. Right.
I remember the doctor saying, I don't know if you guys remember this, but we were supposed to run Pat through there, if I remember correctly. But I remember we had to wait. You guys were wondering, what's going on? We couldn't wait because the doctor said that Pat was about to have a heart attack because he had it on. And it was before he even went into it, even before he went in there, because he was thinking about it.
Yeah, because he's thinking about it. So he's all psyched up before that. But man, we put him through. It was it. But we put different people. We put Katie through.
Well, they also had the stress ball.
Well, that's what I was talking about.
Oh yeah, with it makes a sound.
Yeah, it's like the egg that they held in their hand that makes a sound. And
That was the best part.
so we put several different people through. Katie went through one time, and what we did was Barry and I were down there at critical points where we would jump out and scare them to kind of give it a boost to the scare.
Right.
And I was behind a door that had a rope, and you could stand away and you could pull on the rope, and the door would open by itself. Okay.
Right.
Well, so Katie comes down there, and here's the elevator that Tom was trying to get, but it was at the other end. So they would send him down. You'd hear it go, ding, ding. Elevator door opens. And Katie, you can hear her kind of giggling or whatever. She's walking through, and then beep, beep, beep every now and then. Not much, but we jump in and we scare her, and they take her vitals, and sure enough, it raised her energy. She was fearful.
Yeah.
No, this whole time we were doing EVP sessions and doing paranormal investigations at the same time to see if we can capture something. Well, here comes Pat. Here's from up above.
You hear it.
You hear
it.
what?
Oh, you hear ding. I mean, solid tone.
It was
the whole time.
It was a solid tone. The whole thing. So, oh man, now we can tell where he's at. Wee.
Tracking
He's coming
device.
through, and we can monitor because we have some of the production of monitors, so we can see him, and he has that look on his face, and he's beads of sweat are rolling.
His
down.
eyes are huge.
He's,
I remember-
oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
That's all he would say.
And I was laying in wait at the very end, just waiting to scare the shit out of him. He was with the door still.
So here's me, just like in the horror movies. I pull the door and he's right there, and the door opens slowly. He goes, whoa! He looks over there, and then he goes through the damn door. It's just like the horror movies where it's like, why did you go in the damn door that opened by itself?
The whole time, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Well, he came through there, and I scared him. Well, now he was hurting by that time.
Did he even make it to you, Barry?
No.
They had to stop him.
he
right?
almost got to me.
He almost got to
He
him.
came around the corner. I was about to just scare the hell out of him.
Right.
And they got on the wall. Abort!
Yeah.
Do not scare Pat. So we could not scare Pat. He was like sweating, pale. I mean, he's like almost having a cardiac event.
Yeah. Even before
So
you
we
guys,
we go all the way for paranormal investigation and research.
Well, what was
kill somebody?
His heart rate was in the 200s.
Yeah,
Right.
200s over 100 something.
I remember the doctor said, "Hey, we need to call an ambulance."
They almost did call an ambulance.
that was
and
crazy.
it was like that before, like he even went down there because I remember I was like, "Pat, you got to calm down. We got to film this. Calm down, relax." Well, Pat Barry's down there. They're going to scare him. No, they're not. This is This TV show. This like TV show. Relax.
And then what's funny is
I can't. Oh my gosh. I was like, calm down. Stop saying that.
he knew that we were down there.
I know.
He knew that we were like, so why? I don't know. But that's Pat for you, man. Man, we like you said, we can go on for months with different Pat stories, but that was the one that cracked us up. But it worked. I mean, we got some EVPs and we got some stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, that dude raised some fear energy to
You even got
exponential level.
Didn't you get scratched in that one too?
Yeah, that was. We were upstairs and we were provoking. This wasn't during the experiment. I think this was the day before.
Yeah.
And Barry had me on thermal camera. He had me on thermal camera across the room, and we were provoking the I think it was Peanut.
Yeah, the
crack whore.
She don't like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, she don't like him. That was the EVP that we got. Of course, Steve Hawk would say,
She
Steve
don't
Hawk, what-
like him.
Steve Hawk, what did EVP say again? It says, she don't like him.
That's pretty good. You sound just like her.
But anyway, we're up there provoking, and all of a sudden my neck just starts to burn. And I was like, I don't know what the deal is. It just, burned. Mm-hmm. And Barry said that my neck literally just turned bright red, like by itself on the thermal, just went foom, and turned red. Well, when we looked at it close, there were scratch marks from underneath my collar.
Yeah, I remember I looked at it.
All the way up to underneath my earlobe.
I think it was three like.
And it was bleeding. And motherfucker over here takes a Q-tip and swabs it. And says, we can get some ghost DNA and find out who did this.
We'll stop researching. Just like hold that thought. Hey, you never know, but it's like you got some like foreign DNA or something that is non-existent. That would be bad.
What pissed me off is it never went anywhere.
Yeah,
we asked
never
them to
went.
send it somewhere, and it never
they
made
never
it to a
went.
forensic
So
lab. Or
that
anything.
episode was almost like our medical episode.
Yeah.
I almost had a heart attack, ghost DNA.
But that was the point.
Yeah.
So successful mission. But the other thing that happened at New Orleans at that mortuary was, remember Mike and his absolute fear of clowns?
Oh, yeah.
So Mike is the camera guy who was part of the Everyday Paranormal team that we talked about. That was Katie's boyfriend originally. That's how Katie came on the show, because Mike was working as a cameraman on the production crew. Well, anyway, we found out a long time ago that Mike was scared of clowns. And there's a lot of people that are scared of clowns. But this dude is scared of clowns like none other. Well, lo and behold, this haunted house, in one of the sections, there was like this 7-foot clown, not a statue, but like this mannequin or whatever. Very realistic looking 7-foot sadistic clown. And there was this little bitty like creature that was next to it. And it was just a static display or whatever. Uh-huh. So we said, okay, this is the fear episode. Mike, you're going to face your fear. We want you to go down. It's like we just double dog dare. We want you to go down there to that clown, and we want you to stare at it in its face for 5 minutes.
It wasn't a normal clown.
There was a psycho clown.
It was like
Like
crazy,
a psycho killer clown.
crazy looking
it was
clown.
like
Pennywise.
Yeah, like
It was
Yeah.
big too,
Yeah.
like big old
like
thing.
7 foot.
Have you seen the movie It? Like the clown
Yeah.
evil? It was like an evil clown?
Yeah,
Was that
like
kind
evil
of-
clown, but like 7 foot tall. Anyway,
Fangs and all that stuff hanging out.
so we said, Mike, you got to go there, and you're going to sit there for 5 minutes, and you're going to stare at this thing, and you can't move. And we want you to face your fear. Okay, so he goes down there, and he's getting ready to do it. Well, we send Katie down there to sit behind the clown with a black blanket over her.
I remember that, yeah.
He doesn't know that she's back there, okay?
Right.
So we're all on the ghost side, and we're watching. We're dying laughing because we know what's going to happen. And he's there, and he's looking at the clown. He's like, on the walkie-talkie, okay, guys, is this enough? No, Mike, face your fears, Mike. Face your fears. Look at that clown. Tell that clown who's boss, Mike. And he starts crying. He starts tearing up, and he was bad. And then we said, okay, Mike, that's okay. And then he let his guard, like, oh, thank God. Katie jumped out at that moment, and another shat your pants moment happened.
I shat my pants at the moment.
They interviewed him after that. It was on camera, and he was still all teared up and whatever. But man, we had some scared people on the show from time to time. But during that episode, it actually helped us because that's what we wanted. We wanted to
Right.
show how that fear energy was going to help in the investigation.
To raise
But
the paranormal energy.
the shit, it was a good opportunity to play practical jokes and stuff on people all the time anyway. So they never knew they were going to get. They were either going to have real ghosts scare the shit out of them, or they were going to have us scare the shit out of them. So
You were never safe on the production.
But that's all the time we have for today's Death, Texas, and Tacos. We hope you've enjoyed another stroll down memory lane. This is fun for me, talking about these old times.
Yeah.
And some things you bring up is I completely forgot about.
Exactly. Yeah.
But all kinds of things. We always talked about, hey, maybe we should write a book. This would be a good book for someone to read. We put all these memoirs together of different things. But
Behind the scenes of Ghost Lab.
But we always use these types of things to our advantage. We use them for investigations, and we had fun at the same time. So just like now, we're having fun, but we will talk to you next week on another episode of Death, Texas, and Tacos. See y'all later.
Later.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Death, Texas, and Tacos. And if you didn't, we don't really give a damn. Now go on and cry to your mama. But we know you'll be back for more next week. Adios, suckers.